Hello, welcome to another Burgundy with Tweedy video. Down in my cellar, partly because it's a hot day. This is the coolest place on the premises. Back to the old problem of not being able to see the label with the terrible lighting. Is that visible? This is Jane Eyre's Gevrey Chambertin from 2018. I have featured a previous vintage of this. I think it was 2017 before. This was from, they called something like Albion Wine Shippers. There is a shop on Lamb's Conduit Street in the Holborn-ish part of London. I had a nice chat with the guy in there. He mentioned that Jane Eyre, the proprietor, the winemaker, the viticulturist here, was originally a hairdresser. So it's fascinating how many different walks of life people move from in order to become winemakers. Jean-Marie Fourier, one of my favourites. I have my stash here of Fourier Gevrey Chambertin. I believe he was a pilot, possibly even a test pilot for a while before joining what was effectively the family business, I think, and becoming a winemaker. So it takes all sorts. As always, this is going to be extremely inconsistent lighting. I actually feel like there's a little bit of browning though. There's very little chance of you being able to tell given the awful lighting in here, and perhaps I can't really tell properly, but it's quite a nice fruity opening. Some of the usual suspects definitely making an appearance here in the realm of some kind of red berry fruit. Definitely wouldn't say it's sort of light, delicate, which is the implication I would think when I start to talk about things like raspberries and strawberries, but a little bit more that kind of berry fruit initially than obviously cherry. But that is nice. I'm getting some background musty, funky aromas, but I think that's obviously just my cellar here. And that is quite a nice berry fruit sort of nose to begin with. On the palate, I would say that has nice concentration, good buoyant acidity, very smooth actually. I don't immediately feel I'm jumping to the word silky, some other textural description that implies smoothness. Almost a sort of pebbly kind of smoothness. I don't know, it's not quite as wafty as silk. That doesn't make any sense, does it? Initially, at least, I'm not detecting any real tannic backdrop there. Yeah, it's nice. I mean, there's definitely some other fruit presence other than just those berry fruits. I'm just getting a tiny hint of sort of watermelon, that kind of thing. Or gala melon, maybe. Pretty sure that's something I've noticed before in Burgundy, and possibly even particularly Gevrey Chambertin. Other kind of fruity notes. Yeah, something like water or gala melon. In amongst all of that, there is also a nice kind of savouriness, a bit of umami. It's certainly not a bad start. I've come outside. I don't think cellar tasting notes ever really worked here. First of all, on the colour, it's just dark. I don't think that's browning at all. It's just a slightly darker colour. And correspondingly, now I'm out of the weird musty environment of the cellar, I think more dark fruit on the nose. So let my daughter have a whiff of this, and she also said blackcurrant. There's possibly even kind of blackberry there. Is there a liqueur called something like Chambord? It's in a bottle that looks a bit like the sort of orb and sceptre, sort of Vivienne Westwood logo. I think that might be blackberry rather than blackcurrant, sort of blackberry liqueur. Reminds me a tiny bit of that. Correspondingly, I guess it has this sort of slightly rich booziness to the nose. Yeah, slightly kind of liqueur-y, blackcurrant liqueur, or blackberry liqueur kind of nose. And there's probably dark cherry as well there. So it's sort of dark fruit, blackberry, blackcurrant, dark cherry, black cherry, and a sort of booziness. And now I'm not in the cellar anymore. I think there is a kind of mushroominess or earthiness that I just thought was background aroma for the cellar, because that always smells mushroomy and earthy down there. But that's quite subtle, and the fruit character is pretty nice actually. It's not overwhelmingly sous-bois, forest floor kind of thing. And that concentration is really nice. Again, I'm getting the similar sort of dark fruit characters. Notice a tiny hint of tannin now that I didn't initially. Very, very subtle sort of white pepper kind of tannic feel to the end. That is nice. That strange whiff of watermelon or gala melon or whatever it was seems to have wandered off now. Might just be background funk. But I think there is still a kind of savouriness, and that probably goes hand in hand with that mushroomy, savoury sort of earthy kind of note. Happy with that. Getting a nice whiff of violet now on the nose that I didn't notice initially. And something woody. And quite a pleasant sort of woody. Good. Pretty pleased with that.